Okay, let's see how this works. Just have a sweet spot here. Early afternoon, a little bit of cloud cover. Temperatures are in the upper 70s. And that's just hasn't been ever the case since I've been here for 2 months now. And so I'm exploring a little, taking a little bit of a unknown length hike and pausing next to the Tasuke Creek. I see a stand of aspens in front of me, some pine, not sure the species, so I won't say. And behind me, and what I'm sitting on, is granite. Granite of this region, which has a lot of iron in it and a lot of lichen growing on it. But I learned on my watershed hike that this is some of the oldest granite on the North American plate. Dates in the billions of years old. So I thought it would be a good place for me to pause and listen to see what this rock can tell me. I haven't done that yet. I just want to make a short video first to say sometimes we really, really do need to step away and get our feet on the ground. I'm just going to speak for myself. When I'm walking on the actual material of the earth itself, like this billions of years old rock that forms the soil that I've been walking on, I'm in a different state in my body than I can get to sitting in a house or a vehicle or shopping mall, office. So moving and being on the earth are the key, and I just am so aware of how precious those opportunities are, especially because we're just slowly degrading and eliminating the possibility for humans to walk on the earth itself. So enjoy it where you can and while you can. I am doing that. And I'm going to tune in and trust what comes to me sitting right here. So here's what's stirring in me right now. I've been really getting clear the last few days that there is a van life chapter coming next for me in my life. I don't know how long that chapter will be or what all the other pieces around it will be, but I know that ever since I first rented an escape camper van over 15 years ago, I knew there was something in that for me. And I've rented many vans since then. And I remember one time driving it alone from the rental place and saying to myself, I don't have to go home. I could just turn this car anywhere and leave and go. And I didn't do that at the time. But I'm at a crossroads in my life where I'm making a lot of decisions. And there's too many decisions to make, really, because I want to do things differently and explore things that I've pushed to the side. And every decision affects other decisions. And so the paralysis comes from trying to make all those decisions at the same time. So on these walks, one of the things I'm getting clear about is, what one decision can I get clear on, and then what other ones can just be done later. And as I move toward the one decision, everything changes. As we take action, everything ahead of us rearranges in response to that. But if we stay in our thoughts about something, we don't have the chance to change that. So getting clear on this one direction for my first set of decisions, I can feel it starting to open up, because I can focus my attention on everything that needs to happen to make that one decision. And then the other things I can worry about later. And I just notice that what comes up for me as I really move toward doing that is there is that fear excitement combination that I was talking about. That's how I know it's true and real. The excitement part goes without saying. I mean, I need to be outside more. I need to be able to just walk out my door and do more hiking on a more consistent basis for at least a chapter of my life. And I need the ability to just go when it's time to go. The fear part is really interesting because when I really get quiet around it and let it be there for me to see, the fear is not the actual lifestyle, because I've experienced it and I have the contingency plans and I know how I would manage it, those kinds of fears. But the fears really, for me right now, that I won't want to come back into society. It's a weird fear. It's kind of like the warning that I got as a child, like, don't let yourself go. Because once you get so lazy and ugly and all that stuff, that you'll never come back. That's where it comes from. But it's this idea that if you get too comfortable, if you like your life too much, you won't want to endure the misery of the life that you should be having. Some kind of logic like that. For me, it's like even this contrast in Santa Fe of the town and the culture and the human history versus being in the wilderness, where there's also marks of human history, but there's the geologic and the biological history of the land. I'm much more interested in immersing myself in this environment all over the planet, the wilderness, wherever it is. It's very, very, very sparse right now on the planet. So it's like, even though these wilderness areas are vast, it's still like such a tiny part of the accessible existence that we have. And it's like, when I think about what I did in Santa Fe, I have ended up, hiking these same few trails many times to get to know them throughout a season. And that's the kind of familiarity with a land that I am seeking, versus, did you go here? Did you go there? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you eat here? It's just like, I'm not interested in the lists. And I'm really also developing this different relationship with food as I prepare for the fast, and really check in with myself about hunger and needs, and really what I need to eat and what I want to eat and what I end up actually eating. And this has been a very many years long process of really examining what are mental preoccupations with food versus the physical sensation of having eaten that food. There's the sensation of having it in my hand and putting it in my mouth, which is the mental preoccupation. And then there's the actual bodily experience of digesting that food and what it does to my state of consciousness, etc., that I've been really looking at over the last decade plus. And even more now, it continues. So, I'm done with the lists. I had to wait for some hikers to go by. So this fear or this discomfort that's arising alongside the excitement about van life is more about the social consequences of that. And of course, I love van lifers. I think they're awesome people. And everybody I've met on the road has just like been of the mindset that jives with me. So this voice of social stigma and whatever it is this shaming voice is coming from somewhere other than my own true experience. It's something rooted in conditioning from a lot of different places. You know, living in a van down by the river. But vans are really cool now. And I've been spending this hike, this 2 hours so far, just daydreaming about configurations and what I would want in my van and which parts of it I would want to build and which parts I'd want it to get some help on and what I want to start with. I think I've pretty much settled on wanting to start with a very basic design that I can then live in for a while and see what I want to add to, rather than trying to get something that's fully decked out and just being like trapped in this fully furnished thing. And that feels really good to me, just to think about that possibility. So freedom, modularity, flexibility, that's what I'm all about right now. Feels good to say it. Okay, I'm about to step off the trail. After 5.5 hours, 9.5 miles, I thought it was going to be maybe a 2.5 mile, 3 mile hike today, but things just evolved. And I just want to say this, what I discovered, this is the longest solo hike I've done in years. And here's what happens for me and maybe you. It's another female hiker. We're often being pulled along by dominant competitive males or females in a hiking group or duo, or we're pulling other people along, being the leader and trying not to injure them or wear them out. Regardless, in either of those scenarios, we're always sort of externally comparing ourselves to somebody else's pace. And it is so nice to meet myself and hear my own internal dialogue as I choose challenges, as I go beyond the point of no return and have to realize, oh crap, there's another maybe 1,200 foot ascent halfway through the hike, and turning around is not really that much better. And I get to deal with myself in that scenario. I get to assess my own preparedness, make mental notes for what I bring next time, and really the only thing would be electrolytes. I thought I had them in my backpack, but I do not. I have so many at home. And it reminded me again of another dream that I had back in 2019 going into 2020, and was interrupted by COVID and my mom's death, and that is doing a solo section hike of the PCT. So van life and solo PCT, here I come.